dominated by certain groups that tired of being ruled, and they're men and they want to do for themselves. Same way in all countries. People are just tired and they're revolutionizing things and they want to be free. We've been in America under white domination, lynched, killed, raped, castrated, shot down daily, no justice in the courts, deprived of freedom, justice, and equality, and we just now want to be free.
Check the flow heavenly, the man that stands behind the mic, a rare pedigree, the God in me, focused on sovereignty and equity, the warrior in me, focused on justice and weaponry, the dad in me, chasing legacy and longevity, the king in me, always move respectfully and ethically, the shadow self, looking very weak but so impressed with me, my higher self took 33 steps to get the best from me, only I can rescue me, propaganda got you voting blue no matter who, black faces in high places tighten the noose, whack rappers pushed in our faces tainted the youth, if you can't see the truth of my words then you confused, we only need 900,000 to fix these problems, cruising down the Nile, that prophecy came from Kaaba, I only want to spend time with those who pay homage to the beauty of life and the wisdom from forefathers and mothers, the minute we treat each other as brothers, these devils got no choice but to bow down or suffer, the calendars and the stars is calling us to love us, complete the puzzles, or why they put us in the struggle, to strengthen our muscles, this new age requires the old age to buckle, so break free or bleed, tell me what's your rebuttal, get that jelly out your spine and stand with some structure, bar for bar these gold lyrics is diamond encrusted, this rap sure love could leave Anita blushing, put a smile on Malcolm like his grandmama hugged him, mirror mirror who's the fairest to fill him with gumption, Clarence 13X I built from destruction, Imhotep how I step, architecture lovely, I put God first, no one below or above me, look inside and find heaven, this beauty there, trust me. Yeah, trust me.
And we believe that since we've been fighting all of America's enemies, not our enemies, worked 400 years, 16 hours a day from sun up to sundown without a payday, that we should now be repaid. Don't give us nothing and give us or repay us. You got 50 states, then we make up 10% of the population, then divide off 10% of the land, let us build our own stores, make our own, grow our own food, make our own suits, and be like other people, and not always begging white people for houses, begging for jobs, begging for a seat in your restaurant. May I use your toilet? May I ride on your bus? Now that I'm grown and educated, now we're no longer slaves and we can't get along, just let me go and live by myself like other people. Ain't nothing wrong with
that. The words of Muhammad Ali.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, peace be upon the soul of Muhammad Ali. Family, you just heard the music by Sess Fifth. And this brother, I always tell him that he makes melodic music, right? Music for the African mind and soul. And so shout out to Sess Fifth. And you can find his music. A lot of people hit me up. Dr. Maat, that song you played at the beginning of your live, who was that? It's Sess Fifth. That's SESVTH, right? Roman numeral 5. So Sess Fifth. And he has a YouTube channel. You can find his music there. And that's actually where I go and I pull it up. But peace, Baba. How are you doing, Baba? I haven't seen you in a month of Sundays.
The same here, and Seth about to make me jump in the booth. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. We're going to have to bring back RBG Family Weekend just so I can build a stage for him.
Come on, Baba. Look, and he would love that. And I've never experienced RBG Weekend, so I would definitely come in. I never have, Baba. I want to pull up. I used to see the pictures on Facebook. I used to see the pictures and stuff and the videos on Facebook. So Baba, but I didn't know you were the coordinator of that. I didn't know that was you.
Yes. Myself along with Lone Star RBG, you know what I'm saying? And of course it was a team effort, but Baba Amin was right smack dab in the middle. Calling them contacts and putting things together, and the Uhuru Academy benefited from it every year. And matter of fact, RBG Family Weekend is the reason why Uhuru Academy really jumped off nationally and internationally was through that. So absolutely.
Beautiful. And look backstage, Baba. I said, Baba, you looking good. Because look, Baba, this is what I said, and I'm gonna say it publicly. I said, Baba, you looking good. And he's like, yeah. That's it. I'm jealous. I said, because I'm out there running like this, running, Baba. And I said, men, when you tweak your diet and you start walking, you all drop weight like that. And I remember you started moving and you would go live and just kind of have a build in the morning. And I'm like, Baba, out there. And I noticed that you like the weight just like it melted off of you, like
We
literally.
give thanks. I'm doing some illusions too. They say you grow your beard longer, your face don't look as fat. So I'm using a couple of optical illusions too. But now I'm cheating a little bit. The weight is coming off and I'm feeling good. And now, Dr. Maat, I can't get through a day without moving. I got to do something.
Yeah.
I got to do some kind of exercise just to get started. You get addicted to it.
You do get addicted. And it's a good addiction, Ashe.
Yes, it is.
I see the Maadian families in the building. Shout out to Wise the Dome TV, man. Shout out to that brother.
Right.
Yeah, I was on that brother's platform and we had a good build, a couple of months ago. And when I was talking to him and I mentioned your name, he said, yeah, Baba. I mean, I know Baba. That's my man. I was like, yeah. So shout out to Wise the Dome TV. I see Dijon Ford is in the building. Peace and love to you, beloved. I see the Queen Mother, a beautiful mind, is in the building. Peace and love to you. I see the Queen Mother, Rashamel, is in the building. Did she reach out to you, Baba? Because she trying to get Zion in the Uhuru Academy.
No, but I got the email that you sent. And I'm going to reach out. I'm going to reach out to her. Yeah, that's on my task list this week. And we're going to make that happen.
Absolutely. Uhuru Academy say, yeah, Great Ali sample. I love that sample. And the Queen Mother Virgo Venom is in the building. So peace to the Maadian family in the building. I see the families on IG watching. I see the baby elder. Peace to the baby elder. Lawrence, I see you. Tori, I see you. Nathy, I see you. Peace and love to your family. I see Deshaun is in the building. Brother David Zapping is in the building. G Mo, your favorite Mason, is in the building. Peace and love to everyone. Please thumb up this video. Thumb it up, family. And also share this video. We want to get some more folks in these virtual seats. And so before we jump into the topic, as family, you see the topic, misgivings, white oppression, the white oppression narrative that they're trying to spin right now. And now we see corporations, big corporations, are rolling back on their DEI policies. And so that's what the build is going to be tonight, fam. That's what the build is going to be on tonight, family. But look, we always got to make some announcements, family. Always got to make some announcements. Right. Family, head on over. Now I gotta change this. I don't want the white girl popping up, Bob, when you go to MelTrek365.com. The white girl I have.
Your DEI.
My DEI policy, right? So anyway, family, make sure you head on over to MelTrek365.com to get your MelTrek films and MelTrek books, and give thanks to the folks who have been ordering the films and the books, and we've been shipping your orders out. A batch of orders went out just on yesterday, family. So I do appreciate the support, but more importantly, I appreciate you exposing your babies, our future, to this type of content. And I don't know why it just went off. Hold on, I had it up, Baba. I had it screen, and then it just went off. Maybe I hit it. But yeah, more importantly, I do, family, appreciate you all exposing your children to this type of content. It's like a lot of our children are inundated with mindless media, and so this is media that teaches them about their history, right? Exposes them to our story, our culture, right? Our way, as Bobby Imhotep would say. He says, "Ingia too, our way." And so that's what it does. And so it's like, it's not just you're supporting Dr. Maat. No, you're exposing our babies to content that's going to foster, positive self-identity and boost their self-esteem, heighten their self-esteem, So anyway, this is the type of content our babies need to be in front of. So family, go ahead and head on over to MelTrek365.com. Grab it ASAP. You can download the films or you can order. We still have the DVDs, and Bible, believe it or not, people are still buying the DVDs. You can also get storybooks and activity books when you come to the website. And also, family, and I got to clear my cache. Look, sister Shanice, brother Baba, she hit me up. She said, "Dr. Maat, clear your cache," because I was telling her, I said, the website doesn't look like it's supposed to look. She's like, you got to clear your cache. But I'm like, I'm going live right now and I ain't got time to do all that. So the website looks a little funny, family. That's not how it really looks. It might not look like that on your end, Baba. Matter of fact, Baba, can you pull it up on your end and see if it does look like that? Because I want to show them. Yeah, I want to show them in real time. Yeah, I want to show them the way it's supposed to look. She said something is going on and I need to clear my cache.
I'm getting the same thing.
Oh, you getting the same thing? So it's not me. I'm gonna let her know.
Not you.
Okay.
It's not you. I can confirm I'm getting the same thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen again. I'm glad that you confirmed. So family, they look a little janky right now, and I don't know why. Maybe you know how Baba those plug-ins sometimes. Yeah, you gotta plug it in. But nonetheless, family, make sure you head on over to uacistemcamp.com. Look, family, we are not taking any more students after this Friday. I repeat, this Friday, which will be December the 6th, this is the last opportunity for you to enroll your children in the UACI camp. You know, I mean, because we're getting ready to send out materials. And so we need to plan accordingly. So if you are interested in getting your child in the UACI STEM camp, which is a virtual camp, is a 100%, as Baba would say, is 100% virtual. Your child will be on with Baba and I from December the 23rd through December the 30th. We'll make sure they're off on Christmas. They'll be on with us no more than 2 hours from 9 to 11. They'll be exposed to African STEM history, and they will be exposed to cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and or the foundations, the fundamentals of programming, okay, and or the fundamentals of programming, okay. And this is an African-centered, a Black-centered camp. Okay. So I'm telling you, all of our children should be in this camp. And Bobby, you know, we got to make sure that while our children, you know, a lot of us, I don't think, Baba, sometimes that our people get it, you know. And I was having a conversation with a good friend of mine, and I said, right now, we're literally in 4th place. Like, if you really want to look at it, right? And Dr. Claude Anderson talked about this in his book, Powernomics, right? So I'm not saying anything new. He predicted this over 24 years ago, that if we didn't make changes, we would be like 4th and 5th class citizens in the US. And we're in 4th place right now. And so I understand, you know, it's Christmas break, Dr. Maat. I want to give my child, you know, off. No. We want to keep our children engaged. We want to keep their mind. We want to keep them engaged. We want to keep them learning, even though, and that's why we're only on for 2 hours. It's not like we're on 4 hours, 5 hours, 8 hours, but we need to make sure that our kids are constantly learning. These are the ages, Baba, where we should be pouring into our children, you know, and it's okay to give our kids a break, you know, but sometimes with Black folks, we think, Baba, just send them to school and then they come home and then school is over, right? Or, you know, or school is out for break, so we shouldn't do anything educational. And that's not what it should be, Baba, you know.
And I think that if I could just add a little bit, right?
Please, Baba, please.
When it's done right, when it's done the way we do it, culturally relevant, live, and with love, it feels like a gift. It doesn't feel like they're getting extra school because they don't get this in school. This feels like a gift. This like, I'm getting on my computer to have fun and learn at the same time every day.
Absolutely.
You know, and so when we look at it that way and see it from that perspective and help families see it from that, and that's why we have return. That's why we're only enrolling till next Friday, because people who've experienced it before want to experience it again.
That's right.
And they ain't talking about I'm gonna sit back and wait for let somebody else get a spot. They coming for their spot.
That's right.
Right. And so it feels like a gift. Children perceive it as a gift. They log on early and want to leave late because of the experience. And so I think we associate everything with the public school experience. Y'all, everything's not like public school.
That's right.
And I know it, and we just need a better frame of reference when it comes to learning, right? And we're that frame of reference. So I just want to throw that in there.
No, Ashe, and thank you for that. And Baba, speaking of, you know, a new reference, a frame of reference, let's talk about the AhuduAcademy.org. You got a new website, Baba. Tell us about that.
We got a new website, and we're back to point.com to this site as well. We have a new website for the Uhuru Academy, Dr. Maat, and shout out to Sister Shanice Fairmew, website design. That's the name of her company. And she did a great job with the redesign, the rebuild. But not only is it clearer where you can really see the all of the services that we offer, from the K-12 online to the homeschool coaching to the adult education. You have our Operation Reconnect program on there. We have a new school store. You're going to see more testimonials, and you're going to see more of our story. We're going to highlight more of our community partners. You see Conscious Ingenuity down there.
I saw that, Baba. I saw that.
You know what I'm saying? Wherever we are, you are. You know what I'm saying?
Ashe, Baba. I see
a lot of that. But also, we're taking our curriculum, Dr. Maat, and we're making it a la carte on the site. right?
Beautiful,
And so
beautiful.
now parents will be able to, those who are not enrolled in the Uhuru Academy will still have access, now can gain access to our very unique curriculum through uhuruacademy.org, uhuruacademy.com. Not only that though, y'all, we built the course builder into our site. So now you can teach, right? So
Beautiful.
now you can sign up as an instructor on Uhuru Academy and offer either paid or free courses for the community. Of course, you know, we have an approval process as well, but we've opened it up to the community because Dr. Maat, we're about to start developing what we call Uhuru University. And we
Yes,
want
I
to make
remember you
sure
told
that
me about that.
yes, when you come to the Uhuru Academy, you're going to be able to get certifications in different computer skills, certifications in different trades, the whole 9 yards. And so we're partnering with industry and all that, right? We have some great partnerships going on, Dr. Maya. UACI, of course. We also have the shout out to Arms Travel and Arms Karma, brothers that are in the transportation business that are building courses to help us get into transportation and logistics. And that'll be on the course. Shout out to Jay Prince, hip hop icon, hip hop mogul. We're putting a course based on his life story on the site called The Art and Science of Self-Respect. It's going to be a life skills program aimed especially for street. All youth could benefit from it, but we're going for the street involved youth. We're going for youth that everybody, the ones that everybody else is throwing away. And so that curriculum is in the works as well. So a lot of great things going on with the Uhuru Academy.
I love it. I love it, Bobby. And please plug your the upcoming fundraiser, the Kwanzaa upcoming fundraiser.
Yes, y'all be on the lookout. It'll be advertised on the site. We do our virtual Kwanzaa fundraiser. I am the Black Power Lou Rawls. You know what I'm saying? I do the Black Power telethon every year from the 26th through the 1st. Every day of Kwanzaa, we're gonna be streaming for at least an hour live every day, sharing our students' work. We have special guests on there. You're gonna be on there too, Dr. Maya.
Oh, you know I'm there.
With lectures, the whole 9 yards, every day of Kwanzaa, you'll be able to join us. And most importantly, you'll have the opportunity to give and support the Uhuru Academy. Your support allows us to offer scholarships. It allows us to keep our tuition very affordable. It allows us to build new websites, travel and spread the word about African-centered education, help other communities build African-centered schools. Shout out to UASCinternational.org in Columbia, 10 years strong, the first school we partnered with to help build a school. And they're in their 10th year now. So shout out to them. So yeah, that's what it is, Dr. Maya. We out of work and we working, they watching.
Come on. Come on, that part, Baba. That's real. We working and they watching.
They watching.
Monitoring spirits. And I do want to give a special shout out to Black Birthright Family. This is an African-centered organization. And shout out to, I'm drawing a blank right now, and I'm sitting over here thinking about the Sister Desiree. Shout out to Sister Desiree Tunstall and her family, the Tunstall family, the Tunstall Foundation. Shout out to them, Black Birthright. And they actually spoke, Baba, at their initiation ceremony or induction. I'm sorry, not initiation, their induction ceremony a few weeks ago. And again, this is an African-centered organization for young Black youth who are in high school. I believe high school. And I know that some of their graduates are now, in college, but once you're a Black right member, you're always one. And so, Baba, what happens is our children meet with them like on the weekends, every Sunday, and they go over material with them. They teach them our history, our culture, and they give them reading assignments that they got to prepare for. They, engage in discussion on those reading assignments every Sunday. It's virtual, and they do this for about 6 or 7 months. And then at the end of the 6 or 7 months, Baba, they take a trip to South Africa. They take the kids to South Africa, and then they go there, then they come back and they have the induction ceremony. So again, we have to make sure that our children are involved in programs like this, and Baba, to be honest with you, African-centered programs are making it hard for people to say, I can't participate, because remember, the thing back in the day was, I don't live near an African-centered school or organization, but now it's online, literally, like African-centered education is online. African-centered organizations are doing things online. So it's no excuse not to participate. Like it's no excuse, because you can participate no matter where you are in the world. So I do want to shout out, Black Birthright, this organization. And I'm going to drop this link also in the chat. I've been dropping links in the chat. And thank you, Baba, for dropping your link in the chat. But I've been dropping links in the chat. So family, make sure you click on those links. So Baba, let's get into the topic.
Okay.
Misgivings, right? So we said misgivings, white oppression narrative, corporations rolling back DEI policies and more. So we just celebrated Misgivings, right? Misgivings. And I got that family, you know, peace be upon the soul of Baba Ishakamusa Barashango. He has in his book, African People and European Holidays, a Mental Genocide. He talks about, he calls it misgivings. And he actually talks about misgivings from page 1, I think all the way to like page 24 or 34, something like that. And so I always, every time these European holidays come around, family, I lift up his work. Okay. You got the yellow book is volume 1. All right. And volume 2, you have the purple book. And so I always lift up this
two of my favorites.
Work. Yeah. I'll always lift up his work, and I always lift up his lectures as well, because his lectures are dynamic. He has a lot of lectures on YouTube, and it was one that was filmed by Transatlantic Productions that I watched a whole lot, and peace be upon that Baba. So he actually transitioned the Baba that started Transatlantic Productions. But I look at the lecture that he posted of Baba Ishakamusa Barashango on his YouTube page, Transatlantic Productions. And so family, if you haven't read or if you haven't gotten these books, family, make sure that if you have a local Black bookstore, grab these books, or you can even Google Everyone's Place. They will ship the book to you, and that is a Black-owned bookstore. And we also got to get the habit. Yeah, we got to get into the habit of supporting our Black independent bookstores. Absolutely. But I do want to lift up this, you know, this work. And also, Baba, you shared an article that Mama Marimba shared with you. I didn't see it, but she must have shared it with you. It was a document. Yes. And so you sent it to me. So Baba, could you read that document to the people? Could you share your screen and read the document to the people?
I absolutely can. Let me pull this up right quick here, and I got it, and I'm going to share it. And yeah, while I do that, I have the distinct honor of being one of the people that Mama Marimba looks to help spread the word. Beautiful. And when I tell you she's a general, she is a general.
Absolutely.
Right? And when things come across my desk from her desk, she's like, forward this to everyone. And so I'm being obedient. So this the third Misgivings in a row she sent me this. Right. Okay. And I want to share with everybody today. And basically it's the story. It's the story of the origin of the Western Thanksgiving, the European Thanksgiving story. You know, we get the story of the Pilgrims and the Mayflower and the Santa Maria and all of that, and Pocahontas. But this, and understand before I start, this information is based on research from what Europeans wrote about Thanksgiving.
Come on, teach.
All right. So this isn't Black Power speak. These are words pulled from their stories. All right. So it's called Misgivings, an African-centered, indigenous-centered view.
Bob, I didn't mean to interject, but I do want to say that was a great point that you made just now, and I don't want that to go over people's head. That basically that in this article, you know, this isn't what Black folks are saying, right? It ain't the blackity black stuff. This is what, like you said, European authors are saying about Thanksgiving. And Baba Ishakamusa Barashango made sure that he mentioned that in his book. He quotes William Durant, who was a European historian. So he's like, these aren't our words, these are their words. But keep going, Baba.
I say. And these are their words from an African-centered perspective, right? So this is Misgivings, an African-centered, indigenous-centered view by Mama Marimba Ani. A group of European scavengers, many of whom had been imprisoned or homeless in England, arrived in New England in 1620. They first lived on Turtle Island. Half of them died within the first few months. Squanto of the Pequot people, who had been enslaved by the Europeans and been taken to England, spoke English, formed a close relationship with these pitiful migrants. He taught them how to grow corn and the fish, how to prepare certain foods and other survival skills. The European people saw Squanto as an instrument of their God to help his chosen people. Say it again. These people saw Squanto as an instrument of their God to help their God's chosen people. In other words, they used him. To them, He and his people were heathens and savages. The worldview of the indigenous peoples, much like the African worldview, taught them to give freely to those who had nothing. Squanto is said to have negotiated a false treaty between the nearby Wampanoag and the Pilgrims. The leader of the Wampanoag nation, Massasoit, donated food stores to the struggling colony of Europeans. In 1621, having survived the hard winter due to the help of the Wampanoag, the Europeans celebrated, as it was their custom to have thanksgivings to their god. No Wampanoag or members of any other indigenous nations were invited to the celebration. And yet, they came and supplied most of the food. In return for helping them to survive, European pilgrims decimated the Wampanoag through disease, treachery, and slaughter in the years which followed. By 1637, as the Europeans were feeling successful, more powerful, and in control of their newly conquered territory, an expedition was sent to Connecticut near Groton. Over 700 indigenous peoples, the Pequot, were celebrating their yearly harvest, the annual Green Corn Festival, when they were taken by surprise by the European invaders. Their men were shot and clubbed to death, while their women and children were burned alive. Winthrop, the first governor of Massachusetts Bay Colony, proclaimed a day of thanksgiving, saying that they should thank God for destroying the savages to make way for a better growth, quoted in the work of Cotton Mather. What followed constitutes one of the most vicious records of continuing massacres of the indigenous people of this land known as America. It became the custom of the Europeans to follow each massacre with a thanksgiving. Rewards would be given to those who return with the skulls of indigenous peoples to encourage their slaughter. In 1863, it was decided to celebrate only one day of Thanksgiving, proclaimed by Abraham Lincoln. At a later period, the fourth Thursday of November was chosen by the capitalists to maximize the shopping days until Christmas. Recently, it has been moved to the third Thursday in November. In 1970, at the 350th anniversary of the landing of the Pilgrims, a leader of indigenous peoples prepared a speech in which he told the true story of Plymouth and berated the European people for robbing the graves of the Wampanoag. The officials of Massachusetts did not allow him to make the speech. Every year since then, indigenous people of this land have looked upon whatever Thursday in November that the European people designate as their Thanksgiving as a day of mourning, says C. Russell Mean, Susan Bates, and Jacqueline Keeler for more information. Notice who we're quoting. African people should understand that we're at war with the same forces that caused the murder of millions of indigenous people of America and the decimation of their nations. We must not allow ourselves to be distracted with the celebration of their demise, while the same enemy is busy stealing our homeland. This brother D said America was built by stolen labor on stolen land. That is the legacy of Europeans in this land. And it goes on to talk about alternatives, y'all. Alternatives to practicing either on that day, doing something different on that day, or even if you're celebrating with your family, right? Make sure you take some time out to recognize indigenous nations and what's been done and what's being done. Take a time out of the day to lay some serious information on your fam, for a few minutes in acknowledgement of that gratitude, right? And then those of you that are further along, you can start fasting on that day. We have African Sovereignty Day, which is on August 31st. That's when many of us bring our families together. So, we recognize, and Mama Marimba recognizes that we are in that lane culturally here in the United States, but at the same time, we need to be aware and we need to develop the willpower and the cultural love of self to say, you know what, we're going to take a stand on this day and make sure that we're not celebrating the demise of other people, especially those who have been destroyed by the same people who have attempted and are continuing to attempt, right, to bring about our demise.
No, absolutely, Baba. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. And I do want to share, and thank you for reading that, Baba. I do want to share with the people, like you said, when you talk about alternatives, and not really an alternative. I want to frame it a little different. Emoja Karamo. I don't want to say that's an alternative, because some people will call that, the other Thanksgiving, and I'm like, no, it's not the other Thanksgiving. Is actually a holy day, a holiday that was created by Dr. Sims. I think it was either Sims or Simmons, Baba. Let me pull it up. Hold on, y'all. Let me pull it up. Let Dr. Maya get it right. I want to make sure. Now I say caramel, but it's caramel. Some people say caramel. Some people say caramel. But here it is right here. It's an African. It says right here, and his name was Dr. Sims Jr. So Emoja Caramel, or caramel, meaning Unity Feast in Swahili, is an African-American celebration. It says begun in 1971 by Dr. Edward Sims. Okay, and it's celebrated. They're saying here in a manner similar to Thanksgiving, which I don't like the Wikipedia article to say that. It happens, or it is held on the fourth Sunday in November. And it says its purpose is to instill solidarity, Black values, and appreciation of Black heritage into Black families. Prayers, libation to honor ancestors, historical readings, and feast marks observances. Okay, so then it says the celebration is based on 5 periods in African American, I would say, history. It says life. It says each represented by a color, okay, used in a ceremony. And so prior to slavery, so we're saying the Black African family in Africa, the color is Black, and that represents Black families in Africa before slavery. You have in slavery, or the Ma'afa, it says the color white, which symbolizes the scattering of Black families during slavery. Then you have emancipation, and it says the color red, marks Blacks' liberation from slavery. And it says the struggle for liberation, and that is the green color that signifies the struggle for civil rights and equality. And lastly, the last period is looking to the future, and there's the gold color. The gold color represents that, and it points to celebrants to hope for the future. And you know what, Bob? I want to give a huge shout out to PLM. PLM hosted their third Emoja Caramel, and so this is all of us there. Beautiful. Multiple Black families, Bob, gathered. This past Sunday, well, not this Sunday, last Sunday, we all gathered, got together. It was African drumming, African dance. We played games, in there. They encouraged Black families to talk more, right? To have meaningful conversations. What else did we do? We shopped. Of course, it was the Black marketplace there. A lot of Black vendors there. Good food. Can't leave out the food. Ooh, Lord. Mama Gina makes great food. So the food, in the words of the young people, was bussin'. That's what they say. It was bussin'. So the food was phenomenal. I'm trying to think what else. We talked about healing. So it was emphasis on healing. And we talked about that toxic philosophy, what goes on in my house stays in my house. We like, hell no. If something's going on in your house, you're abused, something's happening, you need to talk about it. You need to tell somebody. So we talked about that. We talked about healing. And so it just was a wonderful, wonderful event. You see, we were playing Family Fuse, not Family Feud. We were playing Family Fuse. Yes, Family Fuse. We played this game called This or That, where we had to match the Emoja Caramel colors with the eras in Black history. Baba closed us out with a phenomenal message at the end, talking about protecting the innocence of our babies, getting our households in order, and so love that. You see, I'm up here feeding my face. Baba, I couldn't help it. I'm up here like, yeah, Bob, I had to get that good old vegan, that good old vegan food.
Yeah. You understood the mission. Oh, I lost your audio.
So we don't have to celebrate. We can repurpose Thanksgiving, like Baba said. You still utilize that time to get with your family. But just like Baba said, let's repurpose this thing. Don't go in there talking about, and Black folks, to be honest with you, Baba, we never cared about really the Pilgrim and Indian story. Black folks really use that time. We want to see our family and we want to eat. And that's what we use it for.
Yes.
But I just wish that we would kind of move away, Baba, from as Baba Amoru talked about their timeline and when they do it, and just kind of become our own. But again, we are here, and so some of our folks just aren't going to do it. But for me, I went to Emoja Caramel, and then my aunt, she had something at her home. Her daughter came over and cooked,
Right.
so she invited us over there. And so, of course, I'm not gonna say, well, no, I'm not selling. I was like, all right, I'm going over there and kick it with my family. So, Baba, what are
Right.
your thoughts?
Well, I was going to say too, also look at the principles that are being pushed with like Umoja Karamu, thinking unity feast, right? How many of our families come together on Thanksgiving because we come together, but we don't get along and we don't work on it when we there.
Yeah,
A
sure,
lot
Baba.
of family feasts end in turmoil. A lot of our families, we come together and we all happy in the beginning, but we get a few minutes, and next thing you know, I ain't never like you still owe me $20. Really, your mama and your mama had 3 husbands. Like all the stuff starts coming out. You know what I'm saying? And that has a lot to do with the culture, the cultural framework in what we're doing. So when we're coming in with the world's mentality, like this social media mentality and all this, we bringing all that in the house. When we
Yeah,
come together, everybody looking at their phone, nobody talking to each other, that sort of thing. So that's a time, y'all, that we need to be working on bringing our families closer together so we could be better this year than we was last year, at least towards each other. And that's what bringing these African principles, and they're African principles because they're us. That's who we are, right? So bringing these principles in and using the words we use and the colors, that's where that comes in. So not only can we be together, enjoy each other, but we can get better together.
Ashe, Baba. I mean, Ashe. I couldn't agree with you. I couldn't agree with you more, Baba. And shout out to Mama and Koyo. I see Mama and Koyo, OG
Hey,
Wilkins in the building. Peace and love to Mama. I
I
was.
knew she was gonna watch. I had my good sweater on.
You said that's why she watching, Baba.
I sent her a selfie.
You said the selfie, so she said, "Let me
Yeah,
log
yeah,
on, see what he
yeah.
doing."
Let's see what he's doing. He think he halfway cute today.
Absolutely, Baba. So
Peace,
look,
mom.
Baba. So look,
Mhm.
Baba. I want to move on to this thing now, and so, I mean, Baba, it's like they're so strategic. So we know that for the past few years, we've been hearing, it was an attack on CRT, right? We want to remove critical race theory out of schools. And then it went from that to we want to remove Black history curriculum, Black history classes, out of school. And
Right.
now they're ushering in this new narrative about white oppression. Now what I want to say new, it wasn't always new because they always, I suffered, the Irish people, I suffered too. I
Oh
was
yeah.
indentured
Oh
servant,
yeah.
but I suffered like even, and Jewish
Mhm.
folks say, well, my people, we went to Jewish. So, everybody, have said that. I'm not trying to say it's new, but they're trying to usher this thing in, Baba, and
They
say,
ushered it in.
well,
Yes.
the white man suffered in America too. Right. I mean, I'm telling you, that's what's happening here. And
Mhm.
I said, damn, they were very strategic. First, it was CRT. We're going to remove that. We don't want people to feel guilty. We don't want our white children to go to school and feel guilty about their history. So we're going to remove CRT from the schools. Then after that, it was first it was, remember back in the day, they wanted to rewrite Black history. It was that move. Now they just say all together, we want to eliminate it. We don't even want schools teaching Black history. And we saw, Baba, how they started removing Black History Month. Remember, it's not diverse enough in schools.
Mhm.
It's not, even though you still got Hispanic, you got Hispanic History Month, you got Women's
Right.
History Month, the Native American. So, but now Black History Month is not diverse enough. So they started removing Black History Month programs out of school. So you don't see that anymore. Now it's the classes, the courses or the curriculum. Let's get that out of here.
Right.
Now, I mean, even I remember I went to a museum, Baba, downtown. It's goodness, the Walter Art Gallery. I went down there, and now they're pushing this narrative that Black people came over as indentured servants. We came over here
Right.
as indentured servants, and they even put that in McCraw Hill book that a Black mother, shout out to that Black mother in Texas, she exposed that they're teaching it in the McGraw Hill history books. But now in all together, Baba, they're saying, no, we don't even want to teach Black history. We don't even want to teach the revisionist history anymore. We're just going to eliminate
Mhm.
Black history altogether. And now it's this narrative of white oppression. White
Mhm.
people were oppressed too in this country. The white man went through stuff in this country too. He was
Right.
oppressed too. And so I said, I had to reach out to you, Baba, to ask,
Yes.
one, did you hear about that? Are you aware of that? And then two, what are your thoughts about them ushering in this new narrative? And not really new, but this
Right.
narrative that white men have suffered in America too.
Well, White folks want to come back outside, right? And when I say that, I'm saying that they want to return. They want to protect the dominant narrative that's, let's look at the world from a white male perspective, right? They may call it the American perspective. They may say it's colorblind, don't see color, just going to recognize history, greatness, that sort of thing. But that's not what's happening. They're making America great again. And they feel that a great America is an America that teaches the story from the perspective of the white male. They teach that they believe in the natural superior intelligence of white people, or people of Northern European descent. So we're returning to that narrative. So you know that you're conditioned, Dr. Maat, that when I put a young white male in a suit in front of you and say he's the expert, you're not going to ask any questions. You're not going to say he's a DEI hire, he's a poor white trash hire, he's a midget hire. You're not going to say none of that. You're going to say he's an expert. But if I put somebody with a black face or a brown face in front of you in the same suit and say he's the expert, not just white folks, but we are going to look at it and say, oh, okay, any black, they believe in diversity. We're not going to say they hired him because he's an expert. So we've all been conditioned, right, into this belief in natural white supremacy. And so we're seeing a resurgence. It's like, we can be bold. We can be, they've been throwing the litmus test out there, right? And so now with Trump winning the election and other things going on, they're saying, okay, we can be bolder now about it because there's not going to be a response, not a response that they have to take heed to, not a political response, not an economic response. Walmart just rolled back its DEI program.
I got the clip. Go ahead.
Right before the Christmas season. You only do that when you know there won't be a response. And if it is a response, we ain't going to respond in time for Christmas. We need to go get that $350 55-inch TV.
That's right.
Right. And so they're rolling it back also because they're opening up more opportunities as their community, their working class white community, who Trump and the conservatives pander to, they're coming out of the throes of an opioid epidemic and they're trying to go back to work. Right. And so you're going to see a shift in a lot of working class jobs. This is my prediction, that a lot of these working class jobs are going to start going to more working class whites and fewer working class black people.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, our thing is we've been brought up on this get a job strategy. So when they decide to roll back DEI, it impacts us because we put all of our eggs into the make them hire you basket.
Exactly.
So when they say we're not hiring you, we're like, oh, I was just at a huge conference, the NAPSE conference, and shout out to the National Alliance of Black School Educators, biggest education conference for black educators in the world, right? And I met so many innovators, black educators, like, man, I want to do what you do. I want to start my own school. How do I start our own thing? Because they squeezing us out. Then I saw other leaders that was like this, Dr. Maat. I'm talking about with PhDs. I don't know what we gonna do. They start shutting down these public schools. I don't know what we gonna do. I don't know if the citizens lose their job. I don't know. Did they move them out? You know they ended DEI. What's she gonna do? I don't know. And I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you should be worried that you don't know what to do if somebody's hiring you and you have a PhD.
That part.
Right.
That part.
And I'm like, come together. We have everything that we need in order to survive them not hiring us. All we have to do is begin to hire ourselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so, they're rolling back the DEI. This is just affirmative action going away as far as they're concerned, right? They're rolling back. You can't say no CRT in school and then have DEI at the workplace.
Exactly.
Because DEI confirms CRT.
Exactly. It affirms it. Absolutely.
It affirms it. So you can't have one without the other. But the trip out thing is it's one guy in particular. Well, it's a grassroots movement of white people that are getting this done. This ain't Trump. We think it's Trump. This is not Trump. This is a grassroots movement of working class white people that are demanding that these companies roll back DEI. They're demanding that they take CRT out of schools. What you don't see and what you didn't see even before this are the groups of Black people in the boardroom saying we demand Black history. Not don't take the little bit that's in there out, but no, we demand Black history and we want this much of it. We want this much of it. We want all of this and we demand it, and applying that same kind of pressure.
That's right. That's right, Baba.
Yeah. So if you ain't ready to apply pressure, then just sit back and respond to what happens to you. Because that train done left the station, right? And we'll see what happens, because if there's an economic pushback, they'll change again, because the common denominator in this country is always green.
Right.
So we change our spending patterns, they'll change again.
That's right, Baba. No, that's right.
But they might be throwing hints saying we don't plan on y'all having money for long. They might be saying that even our consumer base may be about to shrink. So we have to look at the signs. Somebody's predicting something. We have to make a counter prediction and make our counter prediction come true.
No, absolutely. And Bob, I want to say this. When I heard the term white oppression, I was like, that's an oxymoron. Like, I mean, think about that. Like white, that is not white.
It does exist, but they do it to each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. But when I think of white oppression, Baba, you get what I'm saying? Like you said, it's not anything external that's happening. You see what I'm saying? Like where they're, it's another group of people oppressing them. It's not an external thing. If it's something going on within them, their group, that's one thing. But it's not an external thing where like the non-white folks now are somehow mistreating them. I mean, they are the ones who have the power, wealth, and resources. So like when you say that I'm oppressed in America, I don't, and then another thing, Baba, I was on IG and this person, he said he was Native American and Irish, and he wanted to kind of compare, well, we struggle too, Dr. Maat, y'all don't, wait. I'll say this, and I want to say this, publicly. I'm sensitive to anybody, any group of people who, who has suffered, Bob. And I'm not saying that other groups, other ethnicities haven't had, challenges, haven't gone through trials and tribulations. Don't compare your struggle to my struggle. That's all. That's all I'm saying, Baba. I don't, because I'm going to say it's no comparison, but I'm just saying, Baba, don't compare what your group of people have gone through. Let's not compare. Right. I don't want to do that. Because in my heart, and I got the facts, I would say it's no comparison. But I don't want to come off insensitive. But just don't play the comparison game. And I'm noticing that other groups of people tend to do that. When Black people, when we express our pain, it's like, well, we went through. Well, I had the Holocaust, and everybody want to start comparing pain and suffering with us. They want to compare. It's no comparison. It's no comparison. And I want to say that it's no comparison. Your story is your story, and our story is our story. But they wanted. Go ahead, Baba. Go ahead.
See, our story. See, the issue ain't their story is their story. Our story is our story. The issue is they believe that our story is their story too.
Ooh.
They believe that our story belongs to them too, and they don't like it when we try to take over the narrative.
Oh,
don't compare your struggle to mine, especially when I'm speaking on mine, because what you're doing is you're shaming me out of telling my story. That's the point that you're making. You're trying to negate me in the moment while I'm sharing who I am. You're trying to negate it by saying, well, I went through something too. Okay, I didn't show up at St. Patty's Day parade talking about Black folks need a parade too. I don't walk through the Holocaust Museum saying, Sal, why ain't no brothers on the wall? I don't do that, right? So because they act like, when they say it, they act like, we went through something too, but you don't see us complaining. We absolutely see all y'all complaining. You build whole monuments for your suffering.
That's right.
See the Jews say never forget.
That's right.
And then they'll turn around and tell you, well, you need to put slavery in the past.
That's right.
Right. So no, everybody's complaining. Your issue is that when I tell my story, your ancestors are in you, you're implicated in the story.
That part.
And you're worried about your implication in the story, not whether or not I'm suffering and you're suffering and that sort of thing. That's why they always, it was somebody in the chat earlier, Africans sold Africans into slavery.
Lord.
You're saying that to say what? Don't be proud to be black because Africans. What's your point? Again, you're trying to, it's like I'm saying be proud to be black, and you're saying, well, let me give you a reason why you shouldn't be.
That part, Baba.
You know, and so, but you're not doing it to teach history. You're doing it because you fear our story. You fear the truth. A lot of Negroes fear the truth because they scared they're going to get mad tomorrow and go get braids. They're afraid it's going to crack the programming. So it's like, don't tell me that. I don't want to embrace my story because how can I fit into corporate America at the same time? How can I smile when it ain't funny, laugh when it ain't funny, itch, scratch when it don't itch if I'm walking around studying African proverbs and understanding my principles and values? I can't do that. So la. Don't tell me that stuff.
That's right, Baba.
Yeah, but guess what? They in that DEI. Y'all gonna be calling me talking about what do I do now? Grow an afro, grow some locks. You got to get some pride to build a black business, because then you got to get black folks to come to you because they're not already their boycott against your business is already happening.
That's right, that part.
So when y'all do come over to this side, be ready to have to market to your own community, the one that you was raised to get away from. Welcome back.
Welcome back. Welcome back. And Baba, so the House of Representatives, and you had the sister Jasmine, let me see her name, Jasmine Crockett, and it was another sister. They were having a debate on the floor with the House of Representatives, and Roland Martin played a clip. I saw a clip of it floating around on the internet, and my aunt, shout out to Segment, she sent me the entire clip that Roland Martin, he played the entire thing. And so I want to play this for the people, just in case folks haven't seen it. Jasmine Crockett went all the way in, Baba. And I like that sister. I think she's very sharp. Yeah, she's very, very sharp sister. And let me get this rolling. Why is pause like this? Let me get him off the screen. But I do want to play
one of his best poses, man. Well, yeah, that's what you're gonna get right there. That's it. Go ahead, Ro. Go ahead.
But she did a wonderful job, and another sister followed her up. But check this out, Baba. Here we go. All right.
So many of you know that I practice law, but some of you don't realize that I actually was a business major out of Rhodes College in Memphis, Tennessee. And the emphasis that I got in my business degree was on finance. And as I traveled the country campaigning this election cycle, one of the things that I talked about was this idea that in finance, we always promote this idea of diversity. If you know anything about a portfolio, the one thing that you want to do is make sure that it's as diverse as possible, because at times certain stocks will perform better than others, and they will exemplify various strengths and weaknesses. And together, a diverse portfolio is usually what any good finance person would promote. They wouldn't promote that you solely invest in vanilla wafers, believing that that is going to be the strongest portfolio. But instead, they may want to add some chocolate cake and some Twinkies into the mix to make sure that we have the best portfolio, because there will be different preferences by different people. And again, there will be different strengths. But as I sit here and I think about what we say and what I'm hearing as it relates to diversity when it comes to anything outside of making money. And to be clear, we are losing GDP every time we try to push back on this idea of diversity, because all of us bring something different to the table. But you consistently said over and over the word oppression, and every time that you said it, it was almost as if I was hearing nails on a chalkboard, because it seems like you don't understand the definition of oppression. And I'd ask you to just refer to Google to help you out. Oppression is the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. That is the definition of oppression. And so as I sit here as a Black woman who practiced civil rights, let me tell you, the reason that my colleagues wanted to make sure you understood the same Black history that your side of the aisle wants to delete out of classrooms is because you can then misuse words like oppression. There has been no oppression for the white man in this country. You tell me which white men were dragged out of their homes. You tell me which one of them got dragged all the way across an ocean and told that you are going to go and work. We are going to steal your wives. We are going to rape your wives. That didn't happen. That is oppression. We didn't ask to be here. We not the same migrants that y'all constantly come up against. We didn't run away from home. We were stolen. So yeah, we are going to sit here and be offended when you want to sit here and act like, and don't let it escape you that it is white men on this side of the aisle telling us, people of color on this side of the aisle, that y'all are the ones being oppressed, that y'all are the ones that are being harmed. That's not the definition of oppression. You tell me the prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment that you've had, and we can have a conversation.
You can start with Exodus.
The final thing that I will say on this particular issue, two things. There is an article from The Guardian, and it is a little old. It's from 2021. So I apologize. But it said that back then, just 3 years ago, white men represent 30% of the population, but 62% of office holders. These are the issues that we are constantly looking at and recognizing and trying to say, is this just? I can't even tell you how many white men have served in this chamber, but I can tell you that I am only the 55th Black woman to be elected to Congress. And so when you want to talk about history and pretend as if it was so long ago, it wasn't. Because again, I am just number 55. Finally, when we start to talk about what do these numbers do as we're trying to say that diversity, equity, and inclusion is the problem, the reality is that when it comes to financial performance, companies with more diverse workforces are more likely to outperform their competitors. Companies in the top quartile for racial diversity are 35% more likely to outperform their peers on profitability. Companies with diverse executive teams are 25% more likely to generate greater profits. Diverse companies earn 2.5 times higher cash flow per employee. Diversity works. And until you can show me data that says otherwise, I think that we need to go back to being a country that listens to experts and gets out of our feelings and recognizes, again, that racism is real in this country. And until we stop pretending that it's not, we will not solve the problems that we are consistently facing. And that will bring real unity that we seek when we're looking for a more perfect union.
Baba, she killed it. Baba, she killed it. And she came with the facts. It is a fact. Harvard did a study. It's so many studies out there that talks about how diversity, how companies that are more diverse have higher productivity. They say diversity drives innovation, but it's like no duh, because you have different people coming together with their experiences. They're bringing their ideas and their culture together. So she's right. Diversity, a lot of these companies that are diverse, they make more money, more profits. They're more productive. They're more innovative. So she was 1,000% correct. And I did see in the chat, people were talking about Exodus and how the guy said, well, you could start with Exodus when she said ain't no white man. But if you go over to Egypt right now and you look on those walls, please go. Tony Browder talks about it a lot. Shout out to him. Shout out to Baba Ashwell Kwesi. There were no white Jewish people who were enslaved in Kemet at all. They said the Hyksos came over. The Hyksos came over, and remember they got them out. I think the 25th dynasty. The 18th. It was the 18th or the 25th.
They got them out the first time.
The first time was the 18th, and they got them out again in the 25th. Yeah, Baba. So like it's not even a real. And I hope y'all don't think that I'm bashing anybody. It's not. It was a fictitious. That story of them being there and a million of them that came in, 67 of them or something, and they left out by the millions. That didn't happen. Like we gotta that just didn't happen, and so anyway, so when he threw that out there, I said he lost already, Baba. When he threw that out, start with Exodus. I said, he didn't lost the fight, Baba. He didn't lost the fight.
The white man was oppressed first.
Right, he didn't. I said, Bobby, he didn't lost the fight.
There were no whites in that story at all.
No.
That is a Black history story. Okay.
That part,
Period.
Baba.
You know, yeah. And it's a fictitious story. So
That
yeah.
part, Baba.
Yeah. No,
And
she
so
did a great job.
absolutely. And then hold on, what is this? I think this is a commercial. Hold on, Baba. Say skip the ad. Then another sister, she said, I want some, Baba. It was another sister that said, give me some. And so she stepped up. So here we go. Let's check her out, Baba.
The Equity Inclusion Act, or what it maybe would more aptly be called, the dismantling any semblance of support or opportunity for certain American acts. We know who those Americans are. Americans who have not enjoyed centuries of unfair advantages by keeping others enslaved or segregated or disenfranchised or incarcerated or redlined or gerrymandered or excluded by law. Americans who've lived with disabilities or had their relationships criminalized or their gender expression demonized. If we're being honest here, this bill, which will wipe out every diversity, equity, and inclusion program in our federal agencies, plus those who contract with us, plus those who receive grant money, plus our schools, is nothing new. This is just the final piece of a decades-long obsession with targeting and dismantling anything that might give marginalized people a fair shot, including DEI programs, which honestly started the second the Civil Rights Act passed. Policies like affirmative action and diversity, equity, inclusion are the closest things we've had to the mythical bootstraps that some of my colleagues insist historically and currently harmed communities need to pick themselves up by. After centuries of efforts to keep us out of schools and universities, from jobs and elected office, Republicans targeting these policies are no accident. Why do predominantly conservative white men believe that the success of a Black person or the opportunity or access of a Black person is an existential threat to them? DEI is not given any unfair advantage that society itself does not already confer on certain Americans. It merely exists to ensure that all other people, that women, minoritized folks, queer folks, disabled folks, have the same opportunities to succeed and thrive in our workforce and our schools as people who have not had those opportunities systematically and legally stripped from them do. Is our country not greater when all of us have opportunities to succeed and contribute and survive? Our success and our survival as a nation is bound together. Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs only exist to band-aid over decades, hell, centuries of discrimination against people's skin color, their religion, disabilities, gender, or sexual orientations, you name it. Contrary to Republican conjecture, remedying past discrimination is not, in turn, a discrimination. And we're not going to sit here and pretend racism.
Baba, did you hear what she said? Remedy. She said, oh, hold on, Baba. Remedy and past indiscretion is not, hold on. It's not discrimination. Hold on.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion programs only exist to band-aid over decades, hell, centuries of discrimination against people's skin color, their religion, disabilities, gender, or sexual orientations, you name it. Contrary to Republican conjecture, remedying past discrimination is not, in turn, a discrimination. And we're not going to sit here and pretend racism is over just because one Black person on the Supreme Court agreed that it should be. What DEI does not do is give some kind of magical pass to better jobs, like some of our colleagues are implying. That middle word, equity, does not mean more than or better than. It means treating people fairly and impartially. It means working to fix generational and systemic discrimination to the betterment of all of us in all of our institutions. But instead, Republicans are trying to bastardize the term DEI to be a slur. When Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was up for confirmation and when Vice President Harris was added to the ticket, they called them DEI hires. They want you to believe that a Harvard graduate with over 20 years of experience, who happens to be a Black woman, is not qualified, but a Fox News personality is qualified to run the Department of Defense, and the WWE executive is qualified to run the Department of Education. Let's be real. There is an attempt to create a direct correlation between our race, being a Black person, and our qualifications. So much as to say that there is no way to be a Black woman. There is no resume that a Black person could have that would qualify them unless that Black person is a Republican. And there is a quota there. And while all of this has happened at the top level of our government, I can promise you these same things are happening on every single level of government and private sector. But those people don't have a national platform to speak out against discriminatory treatment. Where is a federal worker supposed to turn when another coworker says a racist comment to them in the break room? Where is the same-sex couple who is denied housing supposed to, because of their relationship, supposed to turn? Where is a pregnant woman who was fired for being pregnant supposed to go? Often the only place that they have to give them recourse are the diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. These folks just want to do their jobs, serving the American people in an environment that feels safe and supports them. Making work a better, safer environment for some does not mean it automatically is worse for others. And those complaining about DEI training are probably the ones who need it the most. My Republican colleagues have got to stop punching down on already marginalized communities and face their own fears of a level playing field privately. It's shameful. I yield back.
But that's what it boils down to, Baba. They are really scared of an even playing field. They're scared. They don't want to compete. They're not used to competing. And I love what you said in the chat when you said when you are accustomed to having an unfair advantage, fairness is oppression. Baba, unpack that, please. Baba, unpack.
You know, when you're accustomed, I always say this. You know, the America is a capitalist country, and it's even more capitalist than it is racist, right? And the only thing that the rich white man offer the poor white man is whiteness. Because the poor white man's still getting underpaid. He still got to fight for his insurance and all that type of stuff. He still getting it with no grease, but he gets a gift called whiteness. And with this gift, he gets to lord over other working class people or feel as if or really have a real-time status over other people, even with no more money. Think about when we had Black Wall Street and the poor whites who didn't have what those black people had, but what they did have was state and federal protection. You know what I'm saying? When they decided they want to terrorize those black people and harm those black people, the only thing that saved them, their badge, was their whiteness. So when that group feels like that's being taken away, they say they're oppressed. But they've been having that advantage for so long that not having it, fairness, feels unfair. It is unfair that you're going to deliberately hire some black people. That's unfair that you're going to deliberately be diverse in any kind of way. That's not fair. They don't see the centuries of advantages that's created, the economic gap and all that kind of stuff that's going on. We're not prefacing with that. That's not. My dad was able to get a house with a bad credit score, and I want to be able to get one too.
Facts.
My father was able to be supervisor over a bunch of black and brown people that were smarter than him, and I want to be able to do that too.
Yeah, my father was able to get a house in the suburbs and made $2,500 a year, and was able to live in suburban developments.
Right. And for rich,
and I want to do it too.
Yeah, and the rich whites are like, yeah, let's defund this, because DEI is a tax break. It's a federal tax break. It's a federal tax incentive. There was an act passed by Biden, you know what I'm saying, that offered a tax incentive for employers that could show and demonstrate that they had DEI programs. Well, this incoming administration is going to defund that. So a lot of these companies, like, if I ain't getting a tax break, we're going to kill the program.
Facts.
Because the tax break is gone. We get caught up in the racist part of it because we understand where we live. And that's always there, and that the government has had to intervene throughout our time here in order for us to get any type of protections in this country. We needed amendments to be citizens. Amendments. We couldn't just say, okay, we're human too, so the law that's there for everybody, it applies to you. No, we need special law for black people. No, we got to say that everybody can vote. Everybody can do that. So we are used to government intervention, but we got to understand that the government doesn't own Walmart. Walmart owns the government. The government doesn't own corporate America. Corporate America owns the government.
Facts.
So we're looking for protection from an entity that can't offer us any. It's not designed to do that, and especially not now. There's no limit on how much money you can give a political candidate. There's no limit how to advertise. Look at the election. Let's vote for Cornel West. Who? He can't even get a commercial. Right? And so the whole playing field, this argument, even I love what the sisters were saying, but it's kind of like a distraction argument. And it's
Unpack that,
distracting
Baba.
us. It's a distraction. It's distracting us from saying, what can we do for ourselves? What are people? We won't come together and do much for ourselves, but we ready to fight when somebody insults us or feels like they're going to take something away.
Right.
But if we were strong anyway, it wouldn't matter.
It wouldn't matter. Yeah. That's
It
facts,
wouldn't
Baba.
matter.
That's facts, Baba.
Yes, I mean, you said y'all need to hire more black people, and they can look at you and say, you don't even hire black people. Y'all wouldn't even hire yourselves. Y'all
Right.
hire each other.
That's
Y'all don't
right.
even want to live by each other. Now you get mad when we don't want to live by you, but why did you leave where you left? Because you didn't want to live by you neither.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact, Baba. And I know earlier you mentioned Walmart, but look at this.
Yeah,
It says Walmart to Toyota, major companies rolling back DEI policies. But hold on. It's not just Walmart. You got Walmart, you have Ford, Lowe's, Tractor Supply,
Yeah.
John Deere, Molson Coors, Harley Davidson, Stanley Black and Decker, Toyota, Bud Light. You know what I mean? So it's not just, I just wanted to show the people that it's not just Walmart. The Walmart CEO, he was on CBS Mornings, and he talked about it, and Gayle King chimed in, and she was like, do y'all still believe in diversity, even though y'all rolling back the DEI policies? And what I noticed, Bobby, he was very careful and intentional with his language. He said, well, we know we're going to maintain pathways for small businesses to be able to showcase their products, with us, small businesses. He didn't say, so when she asked about diversity, I think that, and I'm just assuming, I think that she typically, when we say diversity, Baba, we're talking about race. When white folks say diversity, they're talking about white women and LGBTQIA, like that. I mean, that's typically what it is.
Yep. Small businesses.
Yeah, small businesses. So she said, well, and I wish she would have explained what she meant by diversity, because when he answered, he said, well, yeah, small businesses will be able to still sell, they'll be, they'll still be able to, sell their products with it was that he went there, and I was like, I don't think that's what she meant. I don't think she was talking about small businesses.
Right.
I think she was talking about race. I think she may have been talking about women, LGBTQ, everybody but white men, basically. I think that's what she, so, but he deferred to small businesses. Yeah, we're going to continue to create pathways for small businesses to be able to sell their products, with us. And then they started talking about the tariffs, because Donald Trump said that he was going to impose I think a 25% tariff on imports, from Canada, and it was from somewhere else, another place. But so anyway, that was that. And Bob, I just want to play this last clip of Donald Trump saying, and let me make sure that I'm sharing my audio. Donald Trump said that basically he's going to give reparations to white folks, right? Or redress to white people who feel like they've been victims of CRT, and DEI. And let's hear what he had to say. Hold on.
Federal civil rights. Or I will direct the Department of Justice to pursue federal civil rights cases against schools that continue to engage in racial discrimination and schools that persist in.
So now, Baba, DEI, CRT, this is considered racial discrimination. Okay.
Explicit, unlawful discrimination under the guise of equity will not only have their endowments taxed, but through budget reconciliation, I will advance a measure to have them fined up to the entire amount of their endowment. A portion of the seized funds will then be used as restitution for victims of these illegal and unjust policies that hurt our country so badly. Colleges have gotten hundreds of billions of dollars from hardworking taxpayers, and now we are going to get this anti-American insanity out of our institutions once and for all.
Here's how, George.
You heard that, Baba?
Oh, I heard him.
Yeah. So he just told you, and thank you, Sister LaDoja, right? This sister said Mexico and China were the other places. So Canada, Mexico, and China. Thank you so much, Sister LaDoja. Yeah, Baba, but yeah, you heard him. He said, basically, is going to be consequences for people who still have DEI policies. People who are still, pushing DEI and CRT. They're going to be fined. And he said the money is going to be used to pay restitution to the victims of this. And he's saying that this is now considered racial discrimination. Diversity, equity, and inclusion, critical race theory are now considered racial discrimination. Baba, could you share your thoughts on that, and then we're going to close out.
Number one, everybody definitely recognize that it's funny how sitting there learning about George Washington being the father of the country and a great person, even though he owned, raped, and murdered African people, that wasn't racial discrimination. Keeping you out of the curriculum, starting your history in slavery, that's not racial discrimination. When they tell you one of the smart ones, that's not racial discrimination. Right. But when you come in and say, hey, our history didn't start in 1619, hold up, that white kid don't need to hear that. You're discriminating against them because they shouldn't be able to hear that. Right. And there's a pattern to this. Do y'all know that after the Haitians defeated the French got reparations? Haiti was forced to pay France reparations for property that they lost, including the Haitians themselves being a part of that property. American slaveholders received reparations after the Civil War. When you get your farm back, all your land back, the control of the government back, guess what that is, Dr. Maat? It's reparations.
Right. That is reparations.
That's reparations. And so this is the same mentality saying, hold up, it may have been some white people that were mentally harmed, because of this. Matter of fact, that might have been the cause of the opioid epidemic. Too many brown faces in the White House. And they need reparations. They need a boost. He's basically promising his base an economic boost. He's promising his base that they can run around and put pressure on people and tell people, I got your back. He may be lying to them, but he's pandering directly to his base and empowering them to get out here and take their whiteness back. The question is, when you gonna take your blackness back? The question, because people say, well, what do we do? Be yourself. I move out in the rural, I live in a rural area, Dr. My aunt, you got people who live on the land out here, on their own land and stuff, that they say, I ain't never encountered racism. You know why? They grow their own food. They make their own clothes. So they don't get followed around the store because they're not at the store.
Right.
Or they start their own stores, right? And so, okay, this is what you have in front of you, but it's the same old America. Guess what, y'all? They were never really diverse anyway.
That part, Baba, you better say it. They were never diverse.
Let's not act like we about to come from some racial utopia of diversity and equity and go back in. People say they're gonna roll us back. They ain't gotta roll us back. All they gotta do is inch. It's an inch us back. Like, then we back there because we just went forward. And so we ain't going back. Ain't been no big rush forward. No, it's gonna be one little half step. We back there. We ain't that far out of it.
Baba, you in red mode today. I don't know what's going on with you, Baba. You said the Baba, you said
it ain't a rollback.
But Baba, that's so true. And even it was a white guy. His name was Thomas Shapiro. He wrote the book, The Hidden Cost of Being African American. And he even said in his book that white people preach diversity, but they don't practice it. And he presented a survey that white people took. And I forgot the number of whites that took the survey. But he talked about the survey results, and we presented them on his channel. Shout out to Brother T. We talked about the survey results, and white people were saying, look, anything past 8% non-white in my neighborhood is too much for me. They said, I want my neighborhood to be predominantly white. I want my children to go to schools that are predominantly white. I want to work in environments that are predominantly white. So, basically he drove this point home. He said, white people, and this is a white guy, okay? He said, white people preach diversity, but he said, we don't practice it. So I agree with you, Baba. What do you, them not having these policies, they're just being who they want to be. It's like kind of like Baba, instead of being covert about who they are, they're being overt about who they are. And I'm with you. Black people need to see, hopefully the black folks who are in denial Because remember, you have Black folks who believe that we live in a post-racial society. It's no
Yeah.
more racism, right?
Yeah.
I hope that them overtly being who they are will open the eyes of some of us whose eyes are, in my aunt's words, segment, eyes wide shut. You know what I mean? So I hope that their eyes will begin to open now, Baba, why these people show you who they are. And the sad part is, Baba, they've always showed us who they are. And in the words of Maya Angelou, you know, I'm thinking, when are we going to believe them? Because she said, you know, when someone shows you who they are the first time, she said, believe them, you know, the first time. But with Black folks, you know, white folks been showing you who they are for 400, 500 years, and you still don't want to accept who they are. So anyway, Baba, do you have any closing words, Baba, for the listening audience?
I just think everybody think about how hard it is to undo programming. How hard it is to undo mental and spiritual programming. How hard it is to undo a narrative, even if it's a false narrative. If you are fed a false story over and over and over again, you'll continue to believe that story even when presented with contrary evidence.
Facts.
Yeah, the issue in our community is not whether or not a huge white corporation will hire us. Our issue is whether or not we're willing to invest in ourselves. When we all left the community and stopped opening up stores, the Asians did, the Arabs did, and they're doing very well.
Absolutely.
Black people are still a cash cow in America. The people that are not investing in us is us. That's where we need DEI. We need diversity, equity, and inclusion within Black institutions. We need to accept self. That's the issue. There's nothing wrong with working for other people. There's nothing wrong with getting your education. There's nothing wrong with any of that, Dr. Maat. But we need to build our own Black plumbers guilds.
That's right.
We
Baba.
need to raise our own electrical engineers. We need to grab industries and say, yo, in this neighborhood, this is what we dominating. We creating dentists. We creating botanists. We're creating these things. We have to get aggressive about that language and not worry about the language of the other people.
That's right, Baba.
Before we can fight anything somebody else is doing, we got to get stronger internally first. And that's the issue. So don't be afraid when they say they're rolling back DEI. That wasn't for you anyway.
That's right.
But you should get afraid every day you look up and you see that the dollar is not circulating in the Black community. You should be afraid when you look up and you see that the main goal for us is still to move away from the Black neighborhood and never come back. That should make you afraid. It should make you afraid the lack of Black home ownership, the lack of Black land ownership. That should bother you. In a capitalist nation, if you don't own anything, if you don't have anything to defend, then you have to willingly belong to someone else.
That's right.
In order to survive. That's what should make you afraid.
Hold on, Bob.
That's what I have.
Bob, I should have had it ready, man, for you. I don't know why I didn't. Fire! 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 After you close it, I don't have nothing to say, you know, but thumb up the video. Look, Baba, I ain't got nothing else to say. And you killed it with that, Baba. But everything you said was on point, Baba. You said, you know, we got to get stronger, you know, internally. We have to. We worried about their language and what they're doing. We need to get right, you know, internally. And if we get right internally, we don't have to be fearful of what they're going to say or do, because we'll be strong. And so, Baba, you dropped a lot of jewels. I want to thank you, Baba, for coming on, Baba, and just your wisdom, your knowledge, your energy. I want to thank Mama and Koyo for allowing you to be here with us, because she could have been like, no, Baba, you know, we got the family doing this, and I can't, you know, the wife. So no, I just appreciate it, because time with us is time away, you know, from your wife and your children. And so I thank you, Baba, you know, for your time. Thank you so much, Mama and Koyo. I also want to thank the people here. So I see the Maat and family in the building. You know, I see the Uhuru Academy families in the building. And so shout out to the folks who are viewing on IG, the folks who are viewing on Facebook, the folks who are viewing on YouTube. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel and also Baba channel. Baba had the Uhuru Academy channel. Make sure, and he goes live like every morning. He does the morning build with Baba, and he drops a lot of jewels. He'll just be walking and just boop, go live and drop a lot of jewels. So family, make sure you subscribe to the Uhuru Academy YouTube page. Also, if you're on Uhuru Academy, make sure you come over here and subscribe to my page, Dr. Oya Edwa, my IG family. Make sure you come on over here to YouTube so I can highlight your comments. You're making comments on IG and I can't, highlight them and show them. But make sure you subscribe to our channels, family, and hit the notification bell so that whenever we go live, you are notified. So I thank you for your time, your mind, and your behind. Pull up on us next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace and Black